What's good with your fam? Welcome to Big Faces Worldwide. We'll be talking nothing but this boxing, man. Hey, listen, man. VASYL Lomachenko has been elevated to the WBA Super Champion. That's right, man. The WBA has elevated him, sort of like what they did with Keith Thurman. The WBA usually does this when they have a unified champion. If you can remember back, Keith Thurman was the regular WBA champion, and then once he beat Danny Garcia for his WBC title, he became unified, and the WBA elevated him to the super champion. Well, they did the same thing with VASYL Lomachenko here, and now Robert Easter Jr. and Rantis Barthélemy will fight for that title in a few weeks, man. But Lomachenko got a fight coming up next week against Anthony Carolla. Many people look at this fight as a one-sided matchup, just a formality, just going through the motions. They think that that Lomachenko's going to walk right through Carolla, and for good reason, man. Carolla, he's a decent fighter, but he's not on the level of a Lomachenko. People want to see Lomachenko get in there with some real top shelf competition, and Carolla's just not that guy. Carolla got a record of 34 and 6. Out of them 34 wins, I believe 13 were by knockout. So he's not really packing a whole lot of power. I believe he got 3 draws as well. One of those 6 losses, I believe he got knocked out. I know 2 of those losses came from Jorge Linares, who we know that Lomachenko stopped late last year. Anthony Carolla is in this position because he has been mandated by the WBA. He is the WBA mandatory for that belt. So therefore, VASYL Lomachenko has to fulfill his duties fighting mandatory challenger, which is him. You understand what I'm saying? But TEFIMO Lopez, the explosive, up-and-coming, exciting prospect, soon-to-be contender, he said he will be at the fight, man. He has been calling Lomachenko out for a couple fights now. The kid is 21 years old, and, he is ready to go, man. He got his boots laced up, man, and he's ready for all the smoke. He's ready for all the action, and he wants a title shot, and he wants it with Lomachenko. Now, Bob Arum has come out and said that he would be willing to make this fight. You understand what I'm saying? The reason why another reason why Lomachenko is fighting Carolla is that Richard Comey, who Lomachenko was scheduled to fight, Richard Comey won his IBF title, and in that championship fight, he hurt his hand. The fight with Lomachenko was a done deal, already signed, sealed, but it was not delivered. But they was ready to fight, contracted, but he hurt his hand. You understand what I'm saying? And he had to sit out for a while. So that's when Carolla was made the mandatory. You understand what I'm saying? But Lou DiBella came out this week and said that Richard Comey is ready to go. His hand is healed, and he will need a tune-up before facing Lomachenko later this year. Now, Bob Arum says that should VASYL Lomachenko win against Carolla, and should he win against Richard Comey later this year, and Teofimo Lopez win his fight on the 20th, he said, if Teofimo win his fight on the 20th, he will give him a main event card. You understand what I'm saying? Sometime in the summer. And then after that, he wants a really, really hard fight for Teofimo. And should Teofimo win those fights, then Bob Arum says next year, right after the Super Bowl, he will be willing to make what he calls a blockbuster pay-per-view between VASYL Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. You understand what I'm saying? Now, VASYL Lomachenko would be the favorite in that fight, but a lot of people, well, including myself, will want to see it, man. We think that the young rising star, the young knockout sensation, Teofimo Lopez, may give VASYL Lomachenko a run for his money just because of his explosiveness, because of his aggression, because of his power, and because of his youth. He may just in fact be able to give Lomachenko, who is the more experienced fighter, the more skillful fighter, a run for his money. But Teofimo says he will be present at the Lomachenko fight, and this fight is just creating more buzz, man. It's getting more and more momentum. More people was talking about it. Even Lomachenko has said that should Teofimo get a belt, he'll be willing to fight him. But from what it looks like, Bob Arum is saying that he don't even need a belt, that he'll be willing to make this fight should both of these guys be successful with their fights throughout the rest of the year. Now, the only problem with that is that Teofimo is a big boy for 135. You understand what I'm saying? He has expressed that he does not plan to stay at 135 much longer. That's why he's trying to push for this fight sometime this year. He don't want to wait till next year. He wants this fight to happen, and he wants it to happen by the end of this year. You understand what I'm saying? But a fight like this, man, that can, should Teofimo be able to beat Lomachenko, it would do a whole lot for his legacy, man. It would do a whole lot for his superpowers, his superstardom. It would send him to elevations where, he definitely wants his career to be. So just for that fact alone, that may give him the incentive to, to wait around a little bit at 135, man. But sometimes if you can't make the weight, if your body just won't allow you to make the weight, sometimes you got to move on. You understand what I'm saying? And then you got the another monkey wrench that's thrown into the mix, Mikey Garcia. Depends on what Mikey Garcia is going to do. He got that meeting with Mauricio Sulaiman next week, discussing whether he will vacate his WBC title or whether he's going to fight for it. But should he vacate, then I'm sure Teofimo will be all over Mauricio Sulaiman trying to get a shot at that title, man. He went down there earlier this year to petition for a higher spot in the rankings, trying to get that shot. I believe that Luke Campbell is the mandatory for that title. Luke Campbell is number one, and I know Devin Haney is in the top 5 also, and I forget the guy's name, my number 2, man. But I believe Teofimo is number 3 and Devin Haney's number 4. So all these guys, all these up and coming guys are chomping at the bits. They are salivating at the thought of Mikey Garcia vacating his title, man. And it's highly possible that Mikey Garcia will vacate. The only reason I can see him coming back down would be to fight a guy like Lomachenko, to make that fight with Lomachenko. But you take into account all the history that Mikey Garcia has with Bob Arum, and then it's not a high probability that fight gets done, man. But Lomachenko is 100-1 favorite against Corolla. That tells you right there, like, what type of level of competition that there is, man. But I'm curious to see what happens after this fight. But you never can count a guy out. This is the sport of boxing. Anything can happen. But I'm looking forward to watching it, man. I haven't seen Lomachenko in a while. His last couple fights has been rough, tough fights with Pedraza and Linares. You understand what I'm saying? Jumping up in his weight class. It looks like it may be a little bit too much for him, but his skills are so great, and so he overmatched these guys at 130 that he had to jump up to 135 just to get some competition. You understand what I'm saying? But it's really, really good to hear that Bob Arum has this fight on his mind. He's talking about it as a pay-per-view, so he's looking at the dollar signs, and that's always good when a promoter is looking at the dollar signs, because more than likely, if there's enough money in it, the promoter is willing to make that fight. You understand what I'm saying? So we may get this fight, people. We may get this fight. Bob Arum says he's looking at sometime after the Super Bowl next year, which may seem a long way to some of you guys, man. But you know that Super Bowl will come up on us like it ain't nothing, you know. But you know the question is, can TEFIMO continue to make 135? You understand what I'm saying? Can he continue to make it, or will he outgrow it and go up to 140 and you know, test the waters up there? We'll see what's going on, man. But I just wanted to bring that to you, man. Bob Arum has stated that he is willing to make this what he calls a blockbuster pay-per-view sometime next year after the Super Bowl. You understand what I'm saying? Should both guys continue on winning. That's all I got, man. I appreciate you tuning in to Big Faces Worldwide. If you're yet to subscribe to the channel, don't leave out of here without hitting that subscribe button. You can catch me on all social media platforms at Big Faces Worldwide, which is all one word, man, so you can be notified when I'm dropping more videos. Hit the bell icon